Hi, I'm Ryan Jarowski with GVF. I'm here today with Matt Edmond, Senior Transportation Planner for the Montgomery County Planning Commission. We're here at the Montgomery County Planning Commission's offices actually to talk about the Lafayette Street Extension Project, top priority for Montgomery County. It involves reconstructing and extending Lafayette Street to the Pennsylvania Turnpike within the municipality of Norristown, and eventually having an electronic interchange with Lafayette Street to provide a direct highway connection to Norristown. Matt, thanks for making some time for us today.
My pleasure, Ryan. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Can you talk a bit about the history of this project? Give us some background and what the project entails.
Sure, Ryan. Well, the project goes back to about 1999-2000 when the county did a feasibility study to see if this project would even work from a technical standpoint. The idea behind the whole thing really was to do a transportation project that would provide economic development benefits for Norristown. What this project would essentially do is connect downtown Norristown to the highway network, specifically the Pennsylvania Turnpike, but that's part of a larger interstate system here in the Philadelphia region. And so the idea was to see if you could make an easy connection from the highway and the Turnpike to downtown Norristown, with the idea being that access is very important to business and business growth.
Absolutely. Can you talk a bit about, there's obviously a very diversified funding stream for this project, and also what is the construction phasing? I know several stages are actually going to be let early next year, so can you talk a bit about that?
Sure. Well, this project is funded 80% by the federal government, particularly the Federal Highway Administration, and the other 20% is being funded by Montgomery County themselves. The project was started in terms of engineering around 2003-2004 when the county had received some earmarks through our congressional representatives to get the design underway and eventually completed. And those earmarks were 80%, but somebody has to put up the other 20%. And so Montgomery County said, we'll do that, and that will be our investment in Norristown. And so that's how it's being funded, is 80% by the feds, 20% by Montgomery County. We started the design and the environmental process because that's a very long, involved thing. Did that from about 2004 until about 2008, and so that's where we met with a lot of stakeholders and a lot of different groups, and we basically laid down a basic design, one that would work and met the criteria. And here in the last 2 years, we have spent a lot of time in final design. That's where we make everything basically permanent in our designs.
Excellent, excellent. And you're starting, I believe the first phase of construction starts next year, actually, and
yes.
Feel free to utilize the board behind us if you'd like.
Sure, Ryan. We have, for all intents and purposes, we have 3 phases to the project. There are 2 other phases, which I'll get to. They're future phases, and we'll put those aside for now. But we'll talk about the 3 that will begin in the next few years. The first one, which is scheduled to start sometime in maybe early 2012, is the first section goes from Ford Street, right here on the map, all the way out to about Conshohocken Road, which is right here. Now, this piece is important, Ryan, because this is actually an extension of Lafayette. If you were to go into downtown Norristown now and go down to Lafayette Street a few blocks away, walk east, you will get to Ford Street, and then you'll stop. That's where it ends. It's ended there for decades and generations. Yeah. And so the first piece will actually extend Lafayette Street and take it out to Conshohocken Road. And it will be a section of new roadway that will allow people from Conshohocken to come up Conshohocken Road and then head westward into downtown Norristown and improve some of the network connections here in the Plymouth Meeting Norristown area. The second section, which would start sometime in 2013, would be the local roads. And what that would do is build this connector road here between Carfagno Chevrolet and the Mount Carmel Sports Club. It would also get rid of a piece of Conshohocken Road and shift traffic over to Diamond Avenue. It would widen Diamond Avenue. It would also widen Fairfield Road a little bit. And essentially what drivers would do is they come up Conshohocken Road, go up Diamond, and then continue on Fairfield. If you go out there now, you have a lot of traffic congestion in this area. And people will come up Conshohocken Road because that's the main movement. And if they continue on north to go into Norristown and up to Sandy Hill Road, they will go up Lucetta Street, which is a fairly narrow residential street. And then they will make a left here at a very difficult intersection where you have to crane your neck to look back and hope that nobody hits you on Fairfield. But Fairfield really is the dominant way, though, for people on Ridge Pike. So people are already doing this, and people from Conshohocken are coming up and doing this. And what this next section would do, essentially, is make the traffic flow work much better out there. The other thing is we would also widen Ridge Pike from about School Lane west to Fairfield. That would become 5 lanes, and then it would become 4 lanes from Fairfield to Lucetta, and then heading all the way into Norristown. So that would relieve a lot of the traffic congestion that we see out there. The final phase would basically work on Lafayette Street as it is now in Norristown. And that's where Lafayette Street would go from the narrow, industrial, rough-looking road that's out there to a more modern boulevard. It would have 2 lanes in each direction with the center turn lane. It would have wide 17-foot sidewalks. We would be getting rid of the existing viaduct, which the trail's on now. That would come down and make a whole big green space, which you can see on the plan. And that would essentially be the final piece of this project. You know, there's 2 other phases, and those are future. One is the Turnpike interchange. They had to drop that from their capital budget for now due to financial constraints that they're facing with the down economy. But someday when that comes in, they will build the Easy Pass only interchange with 4 full movements, and you'll be able to get on and off there just like any other interchange. But it would work similar to, say, Virginia Drive.
Excellent.
The 5th one is over by the Dan Howard Bridge at 202. At some point, when PennDOT replaces the Dan Howard Bridge, probably in another 20 years, they will at that point then build that interchange. So when this is all said and done, in the long-term future, you'll be able to go from 202 to the Turnpike through Norristown and save yourself a lot of time and effort.
Excellent, excellent. Could you talk a bit, obviously, this is a project that Montgomery County has prioritized.
Yes.
You've made it one of your top priorities along with 2 other projects. What about this makes it unique? Why did this stand out and become such a priority for the county?
Well, it becomes a priority because, you know, the county has our seat here in Norristown. And Norristown has faced a lot of economic development challenges over the years. And so what we want to do is twofold. Number one is improve a lot of the transportation network here in King of Prussia, Norristown, Plymouth meeting areas, because those 2 interchanges on the Turnpike are still expected to grow over the course of the long term. And so doing this project here will relieve traffic congestion for people trying to get around this part of the county. But also it allows us to make an investment in Norristown that will spur business growth. You know, I guess traditionally governments like counties will put money into specific projects, but what we'd be doing here is creating the right type of environment for businesses to want to invest. You know, the county learned from Conshohocken 20, 25 years ago that if you build an interchange, you will invite development and economic growth. And that was an example in Conshohocken where they got rid of some of the industrial properties. They built a highway interchange, and so that really attracted the notice of developers. So we would like to do the same thing here rather than just putting money on specific projects or specific parcels of land. We want to create the environment rather than go about it the traditional route.
Excellent. Matt, thank you very much for making time for us today.
You're welcome.
And, it's a great, worthy project. We look forward to coming back as its construction begins.
And we look forward to that too.
Take care.
Thanks.